The NPA is on a mission to recoup money stolen through the state capture project. It's filed a forfeiture application at the High Court in Pretoria. The authority wants to get permission to sell the Optimum coal mine, which is worth billions. The decision to go this route was influenced by recommendations in the Zondo Commission report. For more on this, we are joined by the NPA spokesperson, Cindy Siboka. Cindy, thank you very much for your time here on All Angles. Now, of course, Optimum coal mine had shareholders such as Tegeta, etc. So what exactly does the application entail when it comes to that?
So basically what we're targeting is exactly that, Tegeta's shares, an Optimum coal mine, Optimum coal terminal. So what we basically went to court for earlier this year was for those particular shares, which all encompasses the Optimum coal mine and terminal, to be preserved, meaning that they could not be sold, because you would know that earlier this year there was a plan by the creditors to institute a business rescue plan. The business rescue plan would mean that new ownership would take over and the creditors would then sign off on it. So when we brought the application, the court found in our favor and decided to halt that business rescue plan because we believed that it would further benefit persons which we believe were part and parcel of the illegality. And the basis of which we brought the application is that people cannot be benefiting from proceeds of crime, which is the money we claim was used by Tegeta Exploration in order to purchase those two assets.
I think you touched a bit on this in March. The NPA was granted that preservation order. Exactly. So this is basically linked to this. But what does this step now mean, this new step that you've taken?
So the first step meant that it was preserved, basically held for safekeeping through the appointment of a curator, independent curator. Now the next step is the forfeiture. We've lodged the forfeiture application on the 1st of July. So basically that meant that we now want the sale to go over. We want the sale to actually proceed. So we need the court to give us the right to basically forfeit those particular assets once sold for its true value. We must emphasize that we want the mine and the terminal to be sold for its true value, so that whoever takes over can then be able to turn the business around, and essentially also so that the creditors, the legitimate creditors, can get their money.
Cindy, you know, this obviously means a step in the right direction in terms of fighting state capture and all the gremlins that came with it. Does it also mean a step in a positive direction to the possibility of us seeing the Gupta brothers face the law?
So this is part and parcel of some of the recommendations that were delivered basically by the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, where they cited the illegalities that took place in the purchasing. I like to call it the stockfell, where various persons chipped in order to purchase the OCM, Optimum coal mine. But in turn, there are various other persons within the country that were part and parcel of this illegality. So our focus currently is to ensure that those that are actually liable for this do not benefit any further, hence the sale. In terms of the Gupta brothers, that's a slightly separate matter. In the NPA head office is actually busy with that. We know that we're busy with the extradition process. The investigating directorate is actually the unit within the NPA whose case the extradition request is based on, as you would know, the 24.9 million Yulani matter. So the NPA in its totality, we are doing our best in order to get the Gupta brothers back. But this case is slightly different to what we're trying to do.
All right. And there were many other recommendations, for instance, in all 5 volumes of the Zondo Commission report. Can you let us know of any other steps that the NPA has taken, such as this one, you know, in implementing those recommendations?
In the earlier reports, I think it was the second or third report, the Zondo Commission speaks about criminal prosecutions in terms of Busasa. In terms of Bosasa, we have actually instituted a number of cases before court, 3 currently before court, the 1.8 billion rand matter, which all encompasses how Bosasa got about 4 contracts totaling about 1.8 billion, over 1.8 billion from correctional services. The former correctional top boss, Linda Mti, is one of the accused there, Angelo Agriti, and various others who are actually before the High Court in Pretoria in that particular matter, which is proceeding quite well. In terms, there's another matter, the Angelo Agriti gratification matter, in which he actually also told the commission that he had given specific lump sums of money to various persons, including the security upgrades of a former ANC parliamentarian, Vincent Smith. That matter is before court. There's been a number of others that we've actually started actioning as the investigating directorate, but the NPA in its totality has also taken matters to court like asbestos and the likes.
I want to go back to the Angelo Agriti one. I think this one, I believe has been quite a headache for the National Prosecuting Authority in terms of it going ahead. You've been saying quite a number of times that the state is ready to proceed, but it looks like the defense is the one that's taking long. I think it's over a year or over 2 years, actually, that we've been expecting Agriti to go on trial. It still hasn't happened. How far is that?
So yes, you actually write in your assessment that the dragging of feet has definitely not been on the NPA side. We have actually appointed a pulmonologist to assess Mr. Angelo Agriti. A report will be tabled before court actually in this month. So we'll know by the end of July what the next step will be. It will actually be tabled in court in Palm Ridge. And then that will also have a bearing on him because he's also part of the 1.8 billion rand matter in Pretoria. So whatever the court decides in terms of his fitness or lack of fitness there in the stand trial will have a direct effect on the other matter. So that case is proceeding quite well from our end. However, it has been delayed by Mr. Angelo Agriti's alleged medical condition.
All right, Sindisiwe Seboko, thank you very much for your time here on All Angles. You have to ask all these questions because state capture is such a web of a lot of names. So sometimes you need to just ask the NPA to clarify some of the cases and tell you exactly who's on trial for what.